Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Billy and Joe Top 10 Show. I am Billy.
Hello, I'm Joe.
And I got that one fixed from last week. We'll go from there from now on. Joe Carney he has a podcast called Indie's Local Flavor, available at anchor.fm. It's on Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud. I have a program called Keeping the Nostalgia Alive. It's keeping the nostalgia alive.podbean.com. That's all one word, keeping the nostalgia alive.podbean.com. You can also head on over to YouTube, type in the Keeping the Nostalgia Alive show, and subscribe to those shows, and also to Joe and I's show. So Joe is going to recap what happened yesterday, and possibly may even give us a little outlook of what he thinks might happen tonight in the NFL.
Yes, I want your opinion on this, Billy. The Falcons' defensive coordinator needs to be fired. The Bears came on. The Falcons were up by I don't know, 14. Bears came storming back, and I like the Bears. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, Falcons fold again, and the Bears come back and beat them at the end. And I didn't know till I saw the NBC highlights in the evening game. I was like, what? So I'm like, really? Um, the
There's
rate.
there's two NFL licenses that need to be pulled:
Okay.
the Atlanta Falcons and the Houston Texans. They do not know how to run a franchise.
Well, I don't like the Texans coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah. So, and the Falcons are always the Falcons. They're either doing what they do now in classic form, or they go 6-0 and then lose the next six. So and don't get them in a Super Bowl. They get in a Super Bowl, go all in for whoever's playing them.
um, I'm a Raiders guy, but the Raiders front seven got taken to task. The Raiders lost to the Patriots in Boston. The Texans lost to the Steelers, which that was kind of Steelers have a nice team this year. Um, the Colts beat the team they should have beat. That's all there is to it. They beat the Jets pretty easy. Everybody looked good, so they beat the team they should have beat. The Cowboys lost to the Seahawks. I mean, Seahawks is a nice team. Um, and Aaron Rodgers, I think, had a huge chip on his shoulder and told the Saints, well, we're going to take you out. So that's what they did. Now, tonight's the huge game. It's on ESPN only at 8 o'clock. And the Ravens, I don't understand this, Billy. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. The Ravens are favored by 3.5. How do you get a half a point in football? And I know on paper, that you can sack Lamar Jackson and get two safeties for 4 points to cover it. I get all that, but I'm like, okay, that's fine. But it's going to be a great game.
Gambling in the NFL, man. Gee, many Christmas.
And I don't know if you've noticed it or not. Everything in the pregame and the first half is DraftKings or FanDuel.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, man, come on now.
Yep.
So,
What do you think about the baseball playoffs coming up?
um, I don't follow them. I'm glad to see the Reds in it. I'm glad to see the Cubs in it, but I really don't follow them currently. So,
Cool, cool. Okay, so do you think that the Colts will be able to go up to Soldier Field and beat the Bears next week?
they got a shot at it. Um, the Bears beat Stravinsky, so it was Nick Foles. So it's going to be more like if the Colts defense can shut down the Bears offense. So I think it's a possibility, but is it a lock? No. So we'll see.
When we were preparing last week for today's show,
Right?
you said that favorite albums or recordings.
Yes.
Okay, so remember that, everybody, when we're going through this, like, favorite albums or recordings,
Right.
because I got a couple recordings that I think are not are my favorite just from a historical perspective. So, and we're actually going to do a top 10 today, everybody.
Ring the bell.
And of course, Joe's going to have his bonus pick.
Correct.
So, but so
Wouldn't have it any other way.
it's our favorite top 10 albums or recordings, and I'm going to let Joe go with his bonus pick.
Actually, I have a story first, and I brought props. This is
Damn it,
on
Jim.
right. This is on Power Records. Power Records did all these. When Billy and I were growing up as kids, we didn't have a lot of entertainment options. We didn't have channels dedicated to cartoons. So what we had was like, this is going to be interesting if I can pull this off. It's a storybook with a record. So that's what we had. And we had basically the Marvel superheroes, the DC superheroes, and Space 1999 and Star Trek. But this was really how you really got your imagination involved in records. And I'm fortunate enough to, this is from 1978. And fortunately, I've been able to keep this from my childhood, and it's still in pretty decent shape.
I had one similar to that, but mine was the $6 Million Man.
Yeah, I love that guy.
And then when my brother was born, we went out and got a Disney album too, which is one of those things. Um, so my bonus pick, like I said, mine are not going to be in 11 to number one order. I do have a number. I do have a number one, but my one of my favorite albums, and I'm going to put it up here on the screen. You may not be able to see it, Joe, is the Power Station with Robert Palmer and Andy Taylor from Andy and John Taylor from Duran Duran.
And Tony Thompson from David Bowie.
Yes, and it's just from one end of the album to the other end of the album. It's upbeat. It keeps you going. It was great for mowing lawns. And it's still one of those things that I can just listen to from beginning to end. And Robert Palmer, of course, left us a little bit too soon. I think it was 56 when he passed away from a heart attack. But the Power Station's first album, there was a couple great tunes on there. Some Like It Hot, and then Get It On from the old T-Rex remake of the T-Rex song from in the 70s. But it's just from track one, and I think there's only 9 tracks on the album all the way through. It's just fantastic stuff, and it's just everybody's going to have a different opinion, and that's why it's called the Billy and Joe Top 10 Show.
No, that's a fantastic album. I love Robert Palmer. He was gone way too soon, and he wasn't appreciated enough, in my opinion. So
no, you're right.
Yeah, and he had amazing videos for MTV.
Yeah, yep.
So my bonus pick. Lauren Daigle, Look Up Child. If I'm ever stressed out or a need of a boost, I put her music on, and it works every time. It's my Monday music.
And that's vinyl you have right there, right?
Yeah, I've got all. I'm a record collector, and I've got all those for tonight.
It was so hard going. I hung on to putting my records on a Maxell high bias, 90-minute cassette tape for so long before. I just thought it sounded so much better than the beginning of compact discs. I know, it took me a long while to switch over to compact discs.
Right.
So.
Right.
So mine is going to be, I'm going to put it up here on the board here. You won't be able to see it, Joe, but everybody's going to be able to see it. It's The Firm.
Oh, yeah.
We
talked about that last week.
Yeah, and with their same, their debut album. And once again, it's just based upon that was my first real introduction to a concert, real introduction to music. Could I have been able to tell you anything about Jimmy Page before it started? Before I went to it, I probably had no information except maybe he was in Led Zeppelin. Would I have
Yeah.
been able to tell you anything about Paul Rogers? Maybe that he sang a couple songs in Bad Company. Did I know at
Yeah.
that point in time that he was in Free and they were All Right Now?
Yeah.
Wouldn't have known it. So it's just, and also it's one of those albums. There's only one song on the album that is a little bit slow for mowing lawns. But it's also one of those that I can listen to everything all the way through. But I love the Firm. It was also my first concert there at Market Square Arena. But fantastic album.
Yeah, great concert, great album, great group. I collect records, like I said, orange vinyl. So I bought this at Broad Ripple at Indie CD and Vinyl, and Annie runs the store as a DJ. She's amazing. So the Beastie Boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but this one's different.
I saw it was clear.
Yeah, this one's different. It was a 2-record set. It was an import from England, and I listened to the first. It's 2 records. The first 2 sides is License to Ill. Side 3 and 4, which was a huge bonus. All their unreleased songs.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so that's my 10th pick. So, and actually, the Beastie Boys and Run DMC are on the new Public Enemy album, and it's a song called Public Enemy Number 1, WON, and it's awesome. So,
what kind of turntable do you have, Joe?
I have Audio Technica, and what's the one? And what's the other one that everybody gets?
Do you have a receiver and speakers also?
Yeah, I've still got my old Sony receiver from '95. So what's the other turntable that I tell people to stay away from?
Technique, Sony.
No, it starts with a C. It's like a suitcase shape. I'll think of it.
Okay. My next one coming up here, I think I'm ahead of you one. You want to catch up and do the next one? Because what number was that on yours? Just 9, right?
10.
10.
Mm-hmm. I can go again.
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw him in concert in 2016. Stevie Wonder, Talking Book. Amazing album. Every track. It's an amazing album. So
I remember you telling me about that concert that you went to.
Oh my, it was amazing.
Yeah. There's he has great music too from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From like what, 61?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine on here is on the screen there. Sorry again, once again, to beat a dead horse. Is Wang Chung's Points on the Curve.
We have interviewed them, so people who haven't heard you interview them, they need to hear that.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Did I tell you the story of how I got an A and on one of my English papers there at Broad Ripple High School?
No.
So I always put, especially after basketball season was over. You're thinking about how you're going to get financial aid or scholarships to college, and right. I'm sitting there just looking out the window during my English course with Mrs. Gulick as my teacher. And we got to come up with a poetry assignment for a pretty good size of our grade for the semester. Yeah. So and you've known about it for 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm there in my bedroom one night. I'm like, man, I gotta get this done. I look over and I just Wang Chung Points on the Curve was the first album in my stack, and I was fortunate enough to see those guys open up for the Cars in '84. and one of the first music videos I'd ever seen too, with Dance Hall Days. So I'm looking,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, and it was great. Albums were great, kids, because you could pull most of them out, and they had the lyrics on the cover.
Right.
And I found one of their songs, which was "The Waves,"
Hmm.
and wrote it down. And Mrs. Gulick gave me an A.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So she thought that was fantastic. I had to read it up
I'll
in front of
bet.
class, and but Wang Chung was very and in interviewing both Nick Feldman and Jack Hughes, both guys were that's not the only story where that someone had done their thesis on one of their songs,
Yeah.
so it's not, and they like it's a compliment
Yeah.
to them. So,
Yeah.
but Points on the Curve by Wang Chung, and I've always wondered, if you Wang Chung tonight, what do you do tomorrow?
Nap. Take a
Okay,
nap.
okay, all right, man.
This introduced me to jazz. Steely Dan, Asia.
Yes,
Every track is awesome. I
man.
was fortunate enough to see him twice live. So
Yeah. And I told
amazing.
you on a previous show that I had a chance but didn't. Wish I would have, should have, could
Yeah.
have. We talked about some shows that we should have went to, and we didn't chat about those. That Steely Dan's one, and of course Prince, and the Prince is another one that I could have, should
Yeah.
have, but I didn't.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull one up here. My dad bought this for me, and I really wasn't a a fan of his. I was a fan of his,
Hmm.
but it
Hmm.
was from the Born in the USA album. And
Right.
the album that I have on screen right now is Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band live, 75 to 85, and
The box
it's
set.
the box set,
Uh
five
huh.
LPs, and you know listen to every LP beginning to end. Just
Hmm.
fantastic stuff by Bruce Springsteen, and I've been hooked ever since. But that was a nice piece to get for the holiday season one year, and I that was a big part of my collection for years. But love Bruce Springsteen, the E Street Band, live from 75 to 86, and that wasn't cheap back then either to buy.
Well, if I remember correctly, that was the first box set ever put out.
Yeah. Well, there's another. Well, yes, major box set put out.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Next up for me, it took me too long to appreciate this guy, but John Coltrane, "The Love Supreme." So um, I didn't know what the meaning meant for quite a while, and then I researched it, and I thought it was about, like, really loving your significant other, but it's God's love for His children. So a love supreme, which I
Interesting.
never knew.
Do you have to be in a certain mood to listen to some of your favorite albums, or is it just you know, do you are there stuff that you listen to when you're happy, stuff that you listen to when you're sad, or you just
Uh,
sit and
I usually have days. Since I was in the DJ, I still got the DJ brain, so I usually do days. So Mondays, like, upbeat Monday. Tuesdays, classic rock. Two for Tuesday, Q95 kind of stuff. When
Q95?
Wednesday is gospel usually. Thursdays, Thursdays is throwback, so that can be hip hop, that can be disco, that can be who knows what. And then Friday's Funky Friday,
Okay, okay.
and then Saturday is alternative or rock, and then Sunday's gospel again.
Okay, so here comes my next one. Everybody's got it on the screen. It's Rod Stewart's "Every Picture Tells a Story,"
Okay.
from beginning to end. Just a fabulous, fantastic album. Maggie May's on there. Of course, every picture tells a story. You know, and it's just, you know, once I listened to that, my dad had this album, and once I started listening to that, I was just hooked on Rod's music. You know, he made some detours here and there with "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" Hey, do you know how much money Rod Stewart, just a guess, made from the song "Do You Think I'm Sexy"?
100 million.
Zero.
What?
Zero. There was an art.
Zero?
There was an artist in Brazil which evidently had the same hook or some lines in the song.
Ooh. Oops. Oopsie.
And so they kind of decided that all the proceeds would go to UNICEF.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, so
yeah.
just, you know, just very interesting. And you know, Rod, Rolling Stones, you know, ZZ Top, Madonna, you know, a lot of these people have done. There's not very many people out there now that I'm going to say is going to be around in 20 years.
Right. Sure.
You know, a lot of these people have done a really good job in perfecting their image and continuing to make themselves a part of the entertainment or music industry when they need to, you know, keep them going and not forgotten.
Right. Exactly.
So, and Rod Stewart's done a good job with that. So, you know,
Definitely.
yeah.
So I figured out what it was. I'm a record collector, and several of my family members have bought these, and I warned them not to, but that's fine. You don't buy a Crosley record player ever,
Crosley, yes, okay.
ever.
It's such a bad
Because,
brand. I don't even remember the brand until you know, it's kind of like getting a Sanyo.
well, you can get it at Target, you can get it
Yeah.
all over the place, but here's the thing: is the needle's so heavy it'll scratch your records.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, so I'm
Cool.
like, go get an Audio Technica. They've got many more features. It's a little more money, but it's worth your time.
Cool.
So that's my public service announcement for the day. Now, this story with this band is unbelievable. De La Soul. They were on Tommy Boy Records, and Tommy Boy will not release the masters of all their albums. So you can't find them anywhere except on YouTube. You cannot find them on any streaming platform because Tommy Boy Records said, too bad, so sad.
And why is that? Money?
They've been to court several times, and Tommy Boy's won every time. So I honestly don't know.
Who's some of
Which
the
is a
other
good
people
shame.
that are on Tommy Boy Records?
House of Pain, which I don't think Queen Latifah. Yeah, I mean there were several people, but those were the big three.
Wow.
So yeah, but a great band, and I mean, I was fortunate enough to buy their CDs, but I mean, yeah, I'd love to get their records, but they're like $300.
Wow.
So
Wow. Okay, so my new graphic up on the screen is, of course, Atlas carrying the world with Van Halen 5150.
Van Hagar.
Yes. Now, what is interesting, here's a couple stories. Once David Lee Roth left, which I thought David Lee Roth was the coolest until I saw him interviewed.
He got fired.
Well, okay, so
Yeah.
you know, so David Lee Roth's no longer with the band. There's 2 phone calls.
Mhm.
One is the first one for the male singer is to Daryl Hall from Hall & Oates.
That's not what I heard. What's the second call?
Second call is Patty Smythe from Scandal.
That's what I heard.
There were 2 phone calls made. So one was to
Yeah.
Daryl Hall, and I don't know how serious the one was to Daryl Hall, but I mean, just the catalog that Daryl Hall and John Oates had in what 85, I think late 85 when they recorded 5150.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. And Daryl Hall does a great job. He has a show on YouTube or Access TV, I think. And you know, it would be very interesting. But the Patty Smythe one kind of is, you know, because Patty Smyth, Scandal, Goodbye to You, The
Yeah,
Warrior, Hands
great,
Tied.
great
She,
songs.
she actually has a new album out, and she's done a great cover of Downtown Train. I don't know who
Okay.
did. I don't know who did Downtown Train originally, but she's got a new album dropping on the 9th of October. But and you know what else is that? Who's she married to?
John McEnroe.
Ooh, Joe is on top of it today.
I play trivia
Every
every
once in a
week.
while, we'll get each other with kind of a I don't know.
I play trivia every week.
Which way did he go, George? I will hug him and pet him and love him and squeeze him. What happened to the rabbit,
Classic.
George? Yes,
Classic.
exactly.
Yeah, and he beats
Classic.
the crap out of the rabbit.
Yes, classic movie. John Steinbeck, Grapes of Wrath. Isn't it? That's
Yeah,
what it is,
yeah,
right?
great
Yeah.
book.
Oh, Mice and Men. I apologize. Mice
Yes,
and
of
Men.
Mice and Men. Yeah.
Man, number one, my English teacher is going to get me for cheating and get me for not listening. Man, so but 5150, it's first song to end song. I'm sorry, and I was
Mm.
captured with that. Just before they released that, I was really hot on VOA, which was a Voice of America, which Sammy Hagar released as his solo
Yeah.
work. And I think on VOA was I Can't Drive 55.
Right.
But
Yeah.
there was a lot of stuff with Sammy Hagar that I really enjoyed, and that 5150 album is just something that I love to listen to. Is in once I burned it up on the record player, I got it on cassette, and
Hmm.
then that, and once when the CDs came out, of course, I went back to the well, and what a scam that was, man.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh, what a scam. So you would be so let's say you had your car with a cassette player and you
Right.
want to hear the new album now.
Right.
So you cheat and you buy it on tape.
Right.
And the tape ain't going to sound great.
Right.
Depending upon what record label it was. There
Yeah.
are, so then you're like, well, I've got to get on record album. So then they've double dipped me. And,
Yeah.
and then I got to
Yeah.
figure out which Maxell tape I'm going to overwrite.
Right. Of course.
And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we got it coming out on CD. Did you find it interesting that some CDs you had to turn up louder if you wanted to hear it louder, and some CDs you understand what I'm saying? Like you'd have to put a little. 5150 was one of those where you had to put a little bit extra in it to get if you wanted to crank it up and jam.
Well, what happened with that in the mix? If you look at the back of the CD, if it says AAD, that's analog digital. Those were quieter.
Ah.
Once digital came along, straight across the board, yeah, you could pump that up all day long.
I had a great. I was the songs caught me, and I was in college. A Winger, and their
Right.
self-titled Winger album, and man, you just couldn't get it loud enough. So
Right.
it must have been just what you said.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Are you a David Lee Roth guy?
No, not really. I mean,
Okay.
I thought David, like I was saying, I thought David Lee Roth was cool until he
Yeah.
opened his mouth.
Right.
And and after he opened his mouth, you're like, this dude is not cool. You have a lot of you have it's like Pete Rose. I'm a huge Pete Rose fan. I still am. But all this scandal.
Oh
be,
yeah.
be it betting on baseball, be it underage girls or whatever. So it kind of disappoints you. Sometimes you just don't want to hear from or learn anything about
Yeah.
your idols. Or I have a lady who works for me, and she didn't watch Walk the Line with Johnny Cash. And I said
Okay.
it's such a great movie though. And she
Yeah.
said, I already have my picture of what I know Johnny Cash is all about and what he's like. I don't need some actor or some story to tell me what he was like and to disappoint my view of him and his work.
I respect that.
Yeah, I do too. But it's very interesting. I like how she said that though.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, are you a Spurs guy? Because I see you got your Wake Forest on. And that's Tim. That's Tim Duncan.
No, I have a Jerry Hoover who coaches high school basketball. I think he's 83 or 84 now, and he coaches Luke Brown. I don't know if you've heard that name. And Blackford, the Blackford Bruins, Blackford High
Oh,
School.
sure. North
Yes,
Central Conference.
yes.
Right.
And his son, John Hoover's wife, is the head basketball coach at Wake Forest girls basketball team.
Oh, nice.
I went to the front door one day and there was a box, and this is the only thing he sent me that didn't make me look like a sausage.
That's a plus,
Yes.
right?
And
I have that problem too.
Yes. And just so everybody knows, every time we come to the table here, at least I do, I'm always wearing pants, although you can't really tell.
Correct.
Yes. But no, I'm I like Tim Duncan, great basketball player.
Yeah, me too.
Probably within that top 15 of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. This record I don't have, so I had to substitute. This should be Sade, No Ordinary Love. I don't have it. I can't find
no ordinary love.
I can't find it. So this is her greatest hits, but it should be No Ordinary Love.
Is that when she was a weather girl?
You used this last week.
I did, but hey, it's worth repeating. It goes so smooth though. When you think about it,
does.
Smooth Doppler radar. You know what I'm saying? That just goes,
yeah.
That's better than any Weird Al lyric.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, it is, man. That's smooth. Smooth Doppler radar. Just think if she was singing that,
What's the one about no, the Amish Paradise is extremely funny.
Yes, it is, and so is there's one about Anakin in the first Phantom Menace.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, off the album Running with Scissors.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let me see what I got up here going on here on my list here. Okay. So, I loved buying comedy albums.
Sure.
I worked, believe it or not, at Karma Records.
So did I.
Which one?
86 in Michigan, right by the pyramids.
Okay, so I worked on the Post Oak and Washington.
Okay, that's right by me. It's still open.
Yeah. Yes. I drove by it a couple times when I was back in town, and the only polygraph test I ever took. I'm assuming you took it also, right? Did you take a polygraph test to get hired?
No, sir.
Yep. Must have passed it with flying colors, but also too, a major portion of their margins and their profits were off of the
tobacco products.
Yes. Good job there. Good job. You're reading my mind on what I was saying. And oh man, I loved working there. It was I think it was the summer of '87 or '88, and when you love music like both you and I, that's interesting. That's pretty cool. How long did you work there?
6 months. It's when I was doing an internship in radio. So
you had the cassettes back behind the counter? No, wait, you got CDs by the time you were there.
Right, it was CDs and cassettes. But I wrote a really long letter to Karma Central about let's get rid of the tobacco products, and they basically told me to shut the heck up.
Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do. I understand that. So
Yeah.
But
yep.
But I was never into that or did any of that either, so it didn't really bother me. So the graphic that we have on the screen is Meet Bob, and it's Bobcat Goldthwait from Police Academy.
Right.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, Seinfeld hates him.
Yeah. Who's he, man? I looked up Seinfeld's name the other day. It don't say Jesus, God, deity. Who is this man?
He's pretty funny.
What are you talking about?
Right.
I mean, come on, man. The world he's not the sun.
This is correct.
He's very rich and could probably buy the sun or darken it for most of it.
Twice.
Yeah. But Meet Bob, and his Bobcat's face is in a package of meat, and it's got all the stamps on and everything. It was pretty funny stuff, and pretty you can't find it anymore. I wish I would have kept it on album, and it was on album, and it was I probably taped over. I probably took, and I know I did, I probably took the cassette and I recorded the Don Johnson album with Heartbeat on it. Do you even know that song I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now see, you gotta wait though, because I got home from graduation and my mom and dad gave me a white linen suit, so I could look like Don Johnson though too.
Oh yeah. I
Shoot, we could talk about
close
music
to
in
that too.
Miami Vice for a
Yeah.
while.
Oh yeah.
Good
Oh yeah.
stuff. Glenn Fry, Phil Collins.
Let's see. What's it? What's his name? Um, I'm drawing a blank on the hip hop song.
There's another one too. I can't remember his name's not coming to me. I should have jotted it down. It's called a Russ Ballard, Voices. Voices, I hear voices. I remember being in the record store, and it was an import, and it was $30.
Yeah.
And that was the only song because Russ Ballard was with Argent. Hold your head up.
Okay.
Hold your head up.
And,
So,
yeah.
and I'm like, I showed my first wife. I said, she goes, "You're not paying $30 for one song."
The hip hop song was Millie Mel.
Okay. And I said to myself when she said, I'm not allowed to buy an album for $30 for one song. I said, I am later on.
Right.
And that's the nice thing about CDs is that you can toss a CD into your collection and no woman is going to go over there and check what you got.
Correct.
Same way with video games.
Correct.
Especially when they look like DVDs.
Right.
Man alive. You kidding me, man? Yeah, are you kidding me? So Meat Bob, I loved Robin Williams, Andrew Dice Clay. I got those things on George Carlin on vinyl. So
Yeah.
it's very neat.
Do you have Roku at home?
A Roku?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get a Peacock now added on there, and it's all the extra NBC stuff, and it's a night show for 20 seasons, and it's got Carlin doing the hippy dippy weatherman. It's fantastic.
Yeah, he's on. I actually have Peacock. We are not getting paid for that, so I'm going to fuzz that out after the show.
Well, it's free on Roku.
We're through Xfinity too, so we get the premium. So we don't. No, we still get Peacock. We still get Peacock. And
Gotcha.
I watched it with Betty Davis and Richard Pryor.
Oh, that's a good day.
You got to watch that one. That's kind of hilarious. I don't know if Richard Pryor was sober. I think he was sober because he wasn't really that funny. And Betty Davis was just on fire. So yeah, but I saw going through there where I want to know the story. I'm gonna have to find it out. The story of Johnny Carson's coffee cup.
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Same coffee cup there.
Yeah.
And it has his picture on it too. I mean, come on, dude.
Right. Yeah.
So, okay. So who's up? You're up. I mean, we kind of got off track there.
That's all right. These gentlemen changed the game, and they finally caught the killers. Run DMC, Raising Hell.
And flip it over. Okay.
Yep, they finally caught Jam Master Jay's killers after 12 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were waiting for.
Well, that's interesting too, and we're here to give you some breaking news too. That Tupac wasn't shot.
Okay.
He died of cancer. Did you know that? Yeah, he was smoking 2 packs a day, and that caught up with him. I know somebody who writes is a singer.
Yeah.
And never mind, I've really just lost the punchline, so laugh at that one, why don't you? Okay, so let's see, what do I have here? Okay. Billy Joel, the Nylon Curtain.
Great album.
Had both Allentown.
Yep, great song.
Pressure.
Yep, great song.
Great yes, and one of my favorite songs was Laura, which was very interesting. We had a pretty strict household.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Are you just making fun of my baseball cards and Star Wars figures being burnt? You smell
No,
smell,
your
smell the
mom puts
cinders.
no, your mom doing the karate kick through the TV when Benny Hill came on.
Oh, and then I told you that story.
Yes, she did.
Oh man, and man, and then she got mad one day because they showed the guy's butt. So she was mad. At least she was mad both ways.
All the
So
time.
yeah, there was in Laura. There's the F word that drops, and it's probably not a great song, but I enjoy the song just because Billy Joel drops an F word, and all of a sudden my mom comes running around the corner. What was that? Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't
But
know that.
yeah, he drops an F bomb on the track Laura off of the Nylon Curtain.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I haven't heard that
Yep,
one.
yep, yep.
Wow.
But Billy Joel, just some. I mean, there's several albums I could have put on here
Oh yeah,
from Billy Joel, but love the stuff.
definitely. Mine's 52nd Street.
Yep.
Love it. Love that album. Okay, so I need to see these guys live sooner than later. The Police, Ghost in the Machine.
Ghost in the Machine.
So, and in high school, me and my buddy Craig and Dave, we played those cassettes so many times. We know these lyrics backwards, forwards, and sideways, and so that was our go-to songs.
What was the name of the Styx album? Paradise, something Paradise. Oh man, I should have that written down too.
Paradise Theater.
Paradise Theater, and the album had artwork on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was like giving. I think there was a couple of Prince albums, or there's a 7-inch or a 12-inch version of Purple Rain where the album was purple.
Yes.
But Paradise Theater, that was a great looking album when you got out and looked at it. That kind of stuff is gone. It's but vinyl is making a big comeback.
It sold more than CDs for the last couple of years.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so my new thing here on the front is Franklin Delano Roosevelt giving on December 7th, 1941, the United States was suddenly and deliberately attacked by the Empire of Japan.
Correct.
And I went to Marsh grocery stores, and they had this thing where you get Abbott and Costello for the first old-time radio cassette.
Yeah.
And then next week we're going to have W.C. Fields. Next week after that we're going to have, news on old-time radio. After that, Lum and Abner, Fred Allen Show, Burns and Allen, The Lone Ranger, Gunsmoke.
You're right.
Gunsmoke with William Conrad doing Sheriff Marshall Dillon, and then he was really upset he didn't get picked for the TV show. I think it was because maybe you were a little bigger.
Could be.
Yeah, like he was in Jake and the Fat Man. I can't remember what role he played in that.
Oh, I see.
But
but
that is a recording that and Bobby Thompson, going in the World Series.
Right.
Today I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. Lou Gehrig.
Right.
But
Sure.
it's just those kind of things are just great recordings. It's not an album, but it's a recording. And I just think that kind of stuff is fantastic.
Right. Definitely. Great movie too. I mean, Pearl Harbor. Great movie.
Yep.
Wow. So many stories. Coldplay, Rush of Blood to the Head. Came out in 2002. I heard it for the first time September 2003. At a family function, my brother played it. Now, it's a go-to album because it got me through many, many hard times. But the upside to it is, me and my brother and sister have seen them live 3 times, and twice out of the 3 times, they come out into the audience and sing in the audience. And the last time they did that at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, they needed no security.
Wow.
They just walked up from the stage, which was at the far end, into the middle, which was 10 feet from my family. No security guards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I may be a little bit late on some music, and I was on them, Coldplay,
Right.
but I do enjoy him, and I like the lead singer. So even though he named
Right.
one of his children Apple.
And his other his son is Moses.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So.
And you know who he's dating, right?
Who's he dating now?
Don Johnson's daughter, Dakota Johnson.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. Chris Martin. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so what do I have up here? There we go. About a week after Elvis Presley died, my dad ordered this box set, The Elvis Presley Story. And it's the first box set I've seen. I know we talked about Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, but I just remember sitting and listening to these songs with my dad, and still a huge Elvis Presley fan. So much so that my firstborn Taylor's middle name is Presley, so it's Taylor Presley. So, I'm sure it's out there on eBay or something else like that, but you can get Elvis Presley's music anywhere. But it's people are seeing it now on the screen. But it's the Elvis Presley Story, and it's all of his number ones, and I think all of his top tens. But my dad was a huge Elvis Presley fan.
Cool. About 4 years ago, I bought on CD. It was called. I'm a huge soul music fan, which I think you know.
Right.
And I saw something. And I said, I have to listen to this. And I'm familiar with all the artists on this record label, but I'm like, I gotta listen to this. It's called Elvis on Stax. Stax Records out of Memphis. What he did is he sold all of his rights to his RCA recordings so he could be independent and record his own music. And you need to listen to it. It's fascinating.
Who was it again?
Elvis on Stax is what it's called.
Interesting.
It's awesome.
Okay.
And a friend of mine at work said she had a friend who's going through breast cancer, and she's a big Elvis fan, and I ended up giving it to her.
Very nice. Very nice. What number are you on, dude? I'm
down to the final one.
Are you down to the final one? So here's I'm going to put this one up on the screen here. So once again, we went by programs,
right.
And this one is, I'm trying to get it a little bit smaller for everyone to see. Okay, so we can make any kind of faces we want now because we're hidden by Radio Play Terrifies Nation. Mars Invasion.
Oh, sure.
The Mars Invasion, thought real. Hysteria grips folk listening in late. Many fear that the world was coming to an end.
Orson Welles.
Oh, yes. But that right there was also one of those, I've taken off the screen now. That was one of those War of the Worlds that, recording program.
Right.
So, and you can probably get that on album also.
Sure.
So, but I love that was just awesome. And listening to it too, you're thinking, how could people really think that, but different mindset back then too. So.
Well, all you had at that time was radio, and which was interesting because it's different. It's theater of the mind.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother level. So.
Yep. Okay, man. So here we come with. We're not doing the top 20, folks.
We're not.
It's a top 10, and here's Joe's top 10 favorite album / program / recording.
Let's see. Couldn't get this till much later. Banned from the Carney Complex. The movie was banned from the Carney Complex. Purple Rain.
Yes, man. Favorite track on the album?
Let's Go Crazy.
Take Me With You.
Oh, that's Apollonia. That's a good day.
Yeah. And
So,
Darling Nikki.
well, do you know the story behind that song?
I do not. Is it a
um,
true story?
oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Um, Tipper Gore heard Darling Nikki at a workout session in Washington D.C. in 1984.
Is this the
And
same lady whose husband invented the internet?
correct.
Okay.
And she decided to start the Parental Music Resource
Yeah.
Center, and it's all because of Prince and Darling Nikki, and she tried to take on Dee Snider of Twisted Sister, and he shut her down, and they shut down my favorite punk band, the Dead Kennedys, and they didn't do it uniform. They pick and choose who got censored. So yeah, not a fan of the old
I got you.
PMRC.
But what a great soundtrack, man.
Oh, every song.
Every song.
Yeah, and I'm huge regret of mine is I never saw him live.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I had the opportunity to see Sheila E., which is as close just because of the influence Sheila E. had from Prince. And, but Sheila E. was on my hall pass list for years.
yeah.
So my number one is, put the graphic here on the screen, and it says, What It Was Football by Andy Griffith.
That's your number one?
It's my number one, man. You have to,
Okay.
when we get off this program, look up on YouTube, What
Okay.
It Was Football,
Okay.
from the album Romeo and Juliet, from Deacon Andy Griffith. It's just, you got to listen to it, man. It's hilarious. It's, it's comedy. It's just, like I said, I really didn't have any order of my albums. So,
Right, sure.
there's a lot of other albums to do, but I like pulling some strange stuff out that I listen to, want to see if people listen to. Same way with you also too, see what kind of feedback that we get. So,
Right.
but
Pull out the obscure stuff
yeah.
sometimes.
What it was football. And the funniest part in it was like, would you like something to drink, sir? Yeah, I think I'll have a big old orange drink. Yeah. And
Is that a Fago?
he doesn't know that it's football. He doesn't, he's describing it like and these convicts come out to the middle of the field and they commence to odd man, flipping coins, heads or tails.
Okay. Yeah.
So
you know the longest yard with Burt Reynolds isn't anywhere to stream?
Really?
Nowhere.
Is
Now
the
the
new
new one's out there, and I'm like, nah. But the original one with Burt Reynolds is nowhere to be found.
Yeah. Now look, Joe, we took 53 minutes to do the top 10.
Yes.
And most of these shows we've been doing top 20, we've been doing about 48, 49 minutes.
Man, I haven't seen you in a couple of days. What's the problem?
Everybody, please tune over. Go to Facebook, type in the Billy and Joe Top 10 Show, and like our page. Go and subscribe to the Keeping It Nostalgia Alive show on YouTube. Check out Joe's show, Indy's Local Flavor, at Anchor.fm and on Google Play, iTunes, and SoundCloud. My goodies are at keepingitnostalgialive.podbean.com. So please, my stuff will be some sports and mostly basketball, or 6 degrees of separation of basketball from the state of Indiana. But we appreciate you joining us. Don't know what next week's topic is. Do you?
You asked me. I came up with this one. I think it's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're going to stick and try to do another top 10.
Just no pumpkin spice latte favorites.
That's fine. And no more Wang Chung. No more The Firm. No more 5150. But yeah. So once again, I'm Billy.
And I'm Joe.
And we will see you guys next week with a new topic from a never-ending list of topics of our favorite top 10 items, plus, of course, the Joe bonus.
Hey, it's dinner time. Enjoy the football game.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. See you next week.
Take care.